Hey, Celtics Nation! We're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Boston Celtics. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. This way, you'll always stay up to date and never miss out on any exclusive news. When the whispers first began circulating, no one really believed them. The idea of Nikola Jokic, the Serbian giant who has become the very definition of a modern NBA superstar, leaving Denver for a city like Boston sounded more like a dream cooked up by fans on message boards than something that could truly unfold. Jokic has been the cornerstone of the Nuggets, the man who delivered the franchise its first championship and changed the way the league thinks about the center position. His ability to pass, shoot, rebound, and command the floor with effortless creativity has earned him 2 MVP awards and an aura of inevitability. So when a few insiders started murmuring about meetings behind closed doors, about a willingness from the Boston Celtics front office to break their long-standing tradition and push every possible boundary in pursuit of a generational big man, people laughed it off. How could Denver ever let him walk? How could Boston, already stacked with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, find the flexibility or the courage to even attempt such a move? Yet the rumor kept growing, the kind that refuses to die, whispering of something seismic on the horizon. The chatter picked up when a prominent Boston journalist tweeted a cryptic message, "Big man rumors heating up. Don't sleep on the green." It was vague, but it was enough to send Celtics fans into a frenzy of speculation. Could it mean Jokic? Some dismissed the possibility, saying the numbers didn't add up. Others pointed out that the Celtics had quietly made financial moves in recent months, clearing future cap space, reshuffling contracts, and opening a window that looked suspiciously like preparation for something monumental. At the same time, reports out of Denver hinted that Jokic was quietly frustrated with the lack of long-term roster stability, the constant pressure on him to carry an enormous load, and the limited flexibility the Nuggets had to build around him after their title run. The timing seemed almost too perfect. Social media became a wildfire of speculation, with photoshopped images of Jokic in Celtics green going viral overnight. Even rival fans couldn't resist joining the noise, debating whether such a union would be unfair to the league, a modern-day equivalent of the biggest super team formations that had once shaken the NBA landscape. The tipping point arrived late one Thursday evening when a respected national insider dropped a bombshell on live television. Nikola Jokic had agreed to a 3-year contract with the Boston Celtics. The news broke like a thunderclap. For a few moments, viewers wondered if they had misheard, if perhaps the insider was speaking hypothetically. But within minutes, confirmations began flooding in. It was real. Jokic, the Joker himself, the man who turned Denver into champions, was heading to Boston. The deal, sources said, was for 3 years, designed to give both sides flexibility while still securing the immediate future of the Celtics as a juggernaut. The NBA world stopped in its tracks. For Celtics fans, it was a dream come true, a chance to finally break through the finals curse that had haunted them despite being perennial contenders. For Denver, it was devastation, a gut punch that few could have imagined even in their darkest nightmares. The ripple effects of the announcement promised to reshape the balance of power across the entire league, and every analyst instantly knew that nothing would ever be the same again. Reaction from Boston was nothing short of euphoric. Outside TD Garden, fans gathered spontaneously, chanting Jokic's name, waving homemade signs, and draped in green jerseys. "We've got Tatum, we've got Brown, and now we've got the Joker," shouted one ecstatic supporter into a local news camera. The city that prides itself on basketball history suddenly felt it was about to enter a new golden age. Memories of Bill Russell, of Larry Bird, of Kevin Garnett came flooding back as fans imagined Jokic anchoring the paint, facilitating plays, and creating a dynamic three-headed monster unlike anything the league had ever seen. Boston's style of basketball, already defined by grit, defense, and versatile scoring, seemed destined to evolve into something breathtaking with Jokic at the helm. The anticipation was electric, and for once, the notorious cynicism of Boston fans seemed to melt away in a wave of pure belief. Even neutral observers admitted that the combination was tantalizing, the kind of experiment that could either dominate the NBA or at least redefine how teams thought about building rosters in the modern era. But while Boston celebrated, Denver was plunged into disbelief. Nuggets fans, still basking in the afterglow of their first championship, suddenly faced a future without the man who had made it all possible. The news spread like wildfire across Colorado, and the emotions ranged from anger to heartbreak. Some accused management of failing to do enough to keep JOKIĆ happy, while others refused to believe the reports, clinging desperately to the hope that it was all some elaborate hoax. Local talk radio turned into therapy sessions, with callers venting their frustration and confusion. "How do you let the best player in the world just walk?" one fan asked, his voice breaking. Analysts in Denver tried to put a brave face on it, suggesting that perhaps this was an opportunity for a reset, but even they struggled to find silver linings. The reality was inescapable. The Nuggets had lost not just a superstar, but their identity. The Joker had been the symbol of everything they had built, and now he was gone, heading east to one of the most storied franchises in basketball history. Around the league, reactions varied from awe to dread. Coaches, players, and front offices knew instantly that the calculus of competition had changed. The Eastern Conference, long seen as slightly weaker than the brutal gauntlet of the West, suddenly looked like a fortress with Boston at its center. Rival teams scrambled to assess what this meant for their own ambitions. Could Milwaukee, with Giannis, keep up? Could Miami's culture withstand the sheer firepower Boston now possessed? And what of the West? With Denver diminished, opportunities opened for teams like Phoenix, Dallas, and even Golden State to climb back into contention. Social media exploded with memes, hot takes, and endless debates. Was this good for basketball, or was it another step toward an era of imbalance where super teams decided everything? For JOKIĆ, the questions didn't matter. He had made his choice, and the Celtics had made their gamble. The world was left to imagine what it would look like when he finally stepped onto the parquet floor, green jersey draped across his shoulders, ready to rewrite the history of one of the NBA's most fabled franchises. In the days following the announcement, the speculation only intensified. What would the Celtics' starting lineup look like with JOKIĆ in the mix? Would the offense run entirely through him, or would Boston balance his genius with the scoring prowess of Tatum and Brown? Coaches around the league whispered that defending such a combination bordered on impossible. With JOKIC's ability to see passing lanes no one else could, combined with Tatum's shot-making and Brown's relentless athleticism, Boston suddenly seemed capable of breaking down any defensive scheme. Pundits began drawing comparisons to dynasties of the past, asking if this trio could surpass the dominance of the Warriors' Splash Brothers era or even the Lakers of the early 2000s. It wasn't just hype. The raw potential was staggering. In practices, according to early reports, JOKIC was already dazzling his teammates with no-look passes and perfectly timed outlet feeds. The Celtics, long a team that sometimes struggled to maintain offensive fluidity under pressure, now had the ultimate conductor orchestrating every movement. The thought of JOKIC standing at the top of the key, directing traffic as Tatum curled off screens and Brown slashed to the rim, was enough to make rivals lose sleep at night. Boston's front office was quick to defend the bold move, explaining that it wasn't just about collecting stars, but about building something sustainable. In a press conference, the general manager emphasized that JOKIC's 3-year deal aligned perfectly with the timeline of their current roster, ensuring a window of championship contention without mortgaging the long-term future. They pointed to JOKIC's reputation as an unselfish leader, someone who made those around him better, as the ideal fit for the Celtics culture. The move was described as a leap of faith, but one grounded in meticulous planning. For years, critics had accused Boston of playing it safe, of hesitating to pull the trigger on risky but transformative trades or signings. This time, they went all in, and the payoff promised to be spectacular. Local media praised the decision as a masterstroke, the kind of gamble that could define a generation. Yet lurking beneath the praise was the acknowledgement that the pressure had never been higher. With JOKIC in green, anything short of a championship would be seen as failure. The Celtics had raised the stakes, and now they had to deliver. Meanwhile, the Nuggets began piecing together the aftermath. Denver's front office issued a somber statement thanking Jokic for everything he had done for the franchise, calling him a legend who would always have a home in Colorado. But words did little to soothe the heartbreak. Fans gathered outside Ball Arena, some holding signs begging for Jokic to reconsider, others simply grieving the end of an era. The players left behind expressed shock, with several admitting publicly that they had no idea the decision was coming. Jamal Murray, Jokic's longtime running mate, reportedly took the news especially hard, describing it as losing a brother. Denver faced an uncertain path forward. Could they rebuild around Murray? Would they try to attract another superstar? Or was this the beginning of a painful decline? The questions hung heavy in the air. Analysts compared it to LeBron leaving Cleveland or Durant departing Oklahoma City, moments that reshaped entire franchises overnight. For Denver, it wasn't just about replacing talent. It was about filling the void of a player whose style and spirit had been unlike anything else in the NBA. The kind of loss simply couldn't be measured in statistics alone. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. As the NBA community digested the shockwaves, attention turned to how Jokic himself would adjust to Boston. Known for his low-key lifestyle, love of horses, and aversion to the spotlight, some wondered how he would adapt to the intensity of a city like Boston, where every play is scrutinized and every star is expected to carry the weight of decades of history. The Celtics fan base is famously demanding, quick to adore, but equally quick to criticize if results don't follow. Would Jokic's laid-back personality clash with the relentless energy of the city? Or would his unflappable demeanor prove to be exactly what Boston needed, a calming force amid the frenzy? Early signs suggested the latter. Teammates described him as instantly comfortable, cracking jokes in practice and embracing the group with his trademark humility. Boston sports culture, built on passion and loyalty, seemed ready to embrace him fully, provided the wins came quickly. For Jokic, it was a chance to prove that his greatness wasn't confined to Denver, that his brilliance could shine just as brightly under the unforgiving lights of one of the league's most iconic arenas. The broader implications for the NBA were enormous. Television networks scrambled to adjust schedules, knowing that Celtics games featuring Jokic would draw massive audiences. Ticket prices soared in Boston, with resale markets exploding as fans clamored for the chance to witness history in the making. The league office, too, welcomed the development, recognizing the marketing potential of having one of its brightest stars playing for a storied franchise in a major market. Yet with excitement came concern. Some worried that Boston's dominance could mirror past eras of imbalance, making the league less competitive. Others argued that super teams are part of the NBA's DNA, fueling drama and storylines that captivate fans worldwide. Either way, the buzz was undeniable. Conversations shifted from if the Celtics could win a championship to how many they might win with Jokic anchoring their lineup. For rival teams, it was both a nightmare and a challenge, a call to arms to raise their own levels or risk being steamrolled by Boston's new powerhouse. The league, once again, found itself at the center of a narrative larger than the game itself, shaped by one shocking decision from a player who always seemed to defy expectations. As preseason approached, anticipation hit a fever pitch. Boston unveiled Jokic at a packed press conference inside TD Garden, where he stood awkwardly but smiling in his new jersey, number proudly displayed in green. The room erupted as he uttered his first words as a Celtic, understated yet powerful. "I'm here to play basketball." Reporters peppered him with questions about his goals, his fit with Tatum and Brown, and his reasons for leaving Denver. True to form, Jokic kept his answers simple, emphasizing teamwork and winning above all else. But beneath the humility, fans sensed a quiet confidence, a belief that he had chosen Boston not just as a fresh chapter, but as the place where his legacy could reach new heights. The crowd roared when he was asked about the possibility of bringing another banner to the rafters, and he responded with a grin. "That's why I'm here." With that, the journey began. A new era of Celtics basketball had officially dawned, and the league braced itself for what was to come. The Joker was in green, and nothing would ever be the same again. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.